1 all the way up to Gen 8. First up in the Fire Pokedex entry reading is Charmander. Pokemon Red, Blue, Leaf Green, and Pokemon Sword. It has a preference for hot things. When it rains, steam is said to spout from the tip of its tail. Pokemon Yellow. Let's go Pikachu and let's go Eevee. The flame at the tip of its tail makes a sound as it burns. You can only hear it in quiet places. Pokemon Ruby, Sapphire, Omega Ruby, and Alpha Sapphire. The flame that burns at the tip of its tail is an indication of its emotions. The flame wavers when Charmander is enjoying itself. If the Pokemon becomes enraged, the flame burns fiercely. Pokemon Fire Red, Pokemon Y, and Pokemon Shield. From the time it is born, a flame burns at the tip of its tail. Its life would end if the flame were to go out. Charmeleon. Pokemon Yellow. Let's go Pikachu. And let's go Eevee. Tough fights could excite this Pokemon. When excited, it may blow out bluish, white flames. Pokemon Gold and Heart Gold. It is very hot-headed by nature, so it constantly seeks opponents. It calms down only when it wins. Pokemon Black and White 2, Brilliant Diamond, and Pokemon Shining Pearl. In the Rocky Mountains where Charmeleon live, their fiery tails shine at night like stars. Charizard. Pokemon Red, Blue, Leaf Green, and Pokemon Sword. Spits fire that is hot enough to melt boulders. Known to cause forest fires unintentionally. Pokemon Ruby, Sapphire, Emerald, Omega Ruby, and Alpha Sapphire. Charizard flies around the sky in search of powerful opponents. It breathes fire of such great heat that it melts anything. However, it never turns its fiery breath on any opponent weaker than itself. Pokemon Diamond, Pearl, Platinum, Black and White 2, Brilliant Diamond, and Pokemon Shining Pearl. It is said that Charizard's fire burns hotter if it has experienced harsh battles. Gigantamax, Charizard. Pokemon Shield. The flame inside its body burns hotter than 3,600 degrees Fahrenheit. When Charizard roars, that temperature climbs even higher. Mega Charizard, why? Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Let's Go Eevee. Its bond with its trainer is the source of its power. It boasts speed and maneuverability greater than that of a jet fighter. Vulpix. Pokemon Silver and Soul Silver. If it is attacked by an enemy that is stronger than itself. It feigns injury to fool the enemy and escapes. Pokemon Ruby and Omega Ruby. At the time of its birth, Vulpix has one white tail. The tail separates into 6 if this Pokemon receives plenty of love from its trainer. The 6 tails become magnificently curled. Pokemon Emerald. It can freely control fire, making fiery orbs fly like will-o'-the-wisps. Just before evolution, its 6 tails grow hot as if on fire. Pokemon Moon. From its mouth spew flames that seem to resemble the spirits of the deceased. Some people mistakenly think this fire is a ghost. Pokemon Ultra Sun. Its beautiful tails have made it very popular. However, if it's not brushed diligently, it will be a mass of tangles before you know it. Ninetales. Pokemon Red, Blue, Leaf Green, Pokemon Y, and Pokemon Shield. Very smart and very vengeful. Grabbing one of its many tails can result in a 1,000-year curse. Pokemon Yellow, let's go Pikachu, and let's go Eevee. According to an enduring legend, 9 noble saints were united and reincarnated as this Pokemon. Pokemon Emerald. It has long been said that each of the 9 tails embody an enchanted power. A long-lived Ninetales will have fur that shines like gold. Pokemon Moon. Said to live for 1,000 years, this Pokemon uses its supernatural abilities to manipulate fire. It can burn its prey to a crisp as it pleases. Pokemon Ultra Sun. It is vindictive and relentless by nature. Those who cross it even once will be cursed for 1,000 years, along with their descendants. Pokemon Ultra Moon. The flickering flames it spews from its mouth leave its opponents hypnotized. Then, this extremely intelligent Pokemon attacks. Growlithe. Pokemon Silver, Soul Silver, Black and White 2, and Pokemon Shield. Extremely loyal, it will fearlessly bark at any opponent to protect its own trainer from harm. Pokemon Crystal. It controls a big territory. If it detects an unknown smell, it roars loudly to force out the intruder. Pokemon Ruby, Sapphire, Omega Ruby, and Alpha Sapphire. Growlithe has a superb sense of smell. Once it smells anything, this Pokemon won't forget the scent, no matter what. It uses its advanced olfactory sense to determine the emotions of other living things. Pokemon Ultra Sun. While it's quite friendly towards humans once it's grown used to them, in the wild it must be quite fierce to defend its territory from Rockruff. Pokemon Ultra Moon. It has lived alongside humans since ages ago. Its bones have been found in excavations of ruins from the Stone Age. Hisuian Growlithe. Pokemon Legends Arceus. These Pokemon live in A Pokemon that has been admired since the past for its beauty. It runs agilely as if on wings. Pokemon Yellow, Let's Go Pikachu, and Let's Go Eevee. A legendary Pokemon in China. Many people are charmed by its grace and beauty while running. Pokemon Silver, Soul Silver, and Pokemon Y. Its magnificent bark conveys a sense of majesty. Anyone hearing it can't help but grovel before it. Pokemon Black and White 2 and Pokemon Sword. The sight of it running over 6,200 miles in a single day and night has captivated many people. Pokemon Ultra Sun. Legends tell of its fighting alongside a general and conquering a whole country. Hisuian Arcanine. Pokemon Legends Arceus. Dwells on sacred peaks perpetually covered in snow, said to appear to virtuous people who have lost their way on mountain paths. It then guides them back down to the mountain's base. Bonita. Pokemon Red, Blue, and Pokemon Leaf Green. Its hooves are 10 times harder than Diamond. It can trample anything completely flat in little time. Pokemon Diamond and Pokemon Brilliant Diamond. About an hour after birth, Bonita's fiery mane and tail grew out, giving the Pokemon an impressive appearance. Pokemon Pearl and Shining Pearl. Its legs grow strong while it chases after its parents. It runs all day in fields and on mountains. Pokemon Shield. If you've been accepted by a Bonita, its burning mane is mysteriously no longer hot to the touch. Rapidash. Pokemon Red, Blue, Leaf Green, and Pokemon X. Very competitive, this Pokemon will chase anything that moves fast in the hopes of racing it. Pokemon Ruby, Sapphire, Omega Ruby, and Alpha Sapphire. Rapidash usually can be seen casually cantering in the fields and plains. However, when this Pokemon turns serious, its fiery manes flare and blaze as it gallops its way up to 150 miles per hour. Pokemon Platinum, Black and White, and Pokemon Black and White 2. When at an all-out gallop, its blazing mane sparkles, enhancing its beautiful appearance. Pokemon Legends Arceus. Fiery mane aglow. Rapidash darts like an arrow across the land. This prodigiously swift creature can traverse the vast region of Hisui in a day and a half. Magmar. Pokemon Red, Blue, and Leaf Green. Its body always burns with an orange glow that enables it to hide perfectly among flames. Pokemon Gold and Heart Gold. It dislikes cold places, so it blows scorching flames to make the environment suitable for itself. Pokemon Silver and Soul Silver. The fiery surface of its body gives off a wavering, rippling glare that is similar to the sun. Pokemon Sun. When it's tired, it escapes into the mouth of a volcano and soaks its body in magma to ease its weariness. Its body burns at 2,192 degrees Fahrenheit. Pokemon Ultra Moon. The hotter the place, the better they feel. Magmar and Alola are said to be hardier than those in other areas. Pokemon Sword. Magmar dispatches its prey with fire, but it regrets this habit once it realizes that it has burned its intended prey to a charred crisp. Pokemon Legends Arceus. Legend has it that this Pokemon was born from the crater of a volcano. When wounded, it bathes in lava to heal its body, much as one would soak in a hot spring. Flareon. Pokemon Yellow, let's go Pikachu, and let's go Eevee. It has a flame chamber inside its body. It inhales, then blows out fire that is over 3,000 degrees Fahrenheit. Pokemon Ruby, Sapphire, Alpha Sapphire, and Omega Ruby. Flareon's fluffy fur has a functional purpose. It releases heat into the air so that its body does not get excessively hot. This Pokemon's body temperature can rise to a maximum of 1,650 degrees Fahrenheit. Pokemon Sun. When it catches prey or finds berries, it breathes fire on them until they're well done, and then it gobbles them up. Moltres. Pokemon Silver and Soul Silver. This legendary bird Pokemon is said to bring early spring to the wintry lands it visits. Pokemon Ruby, Sapphire, Omega Ruby, and Pokemon Alpha Sapphire. Moltres is a legendary bird Pokemon that has the ability to control fire. If this Pokemon is injured, it is said to dip its body in the molten magma of a volcano to burn and heal itself. Pokemon Shield. There are stories of this Pokemon using its radiant, flame-cloaked wings to light up paths for those lost in the mountains. Cyndaquil, 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 Cyndaquil. Cyndaquil. Pokemon Gold, Heart Gold, and Pokemon X. It is timid and always curls itself up in a ball. If attacked, it flares up its back for protection. Pokemon Crystal. The fire that spouts from its back burns hottest when it is angry. The flaring flames intimidate foes. Pokemon Ruby, Sapphire, Omega Ruby, and Alpha Sapphire. Cyndaquil protects itself by flaring up the flames on its back. The flames are vigorous if the Pokemon is angry. However, if it is tired, the flames splutter fitfully with incomplete combustion. Quilava. Pokemon Crystal and Pokemon X. Before battle, it turns its back on its opponents to demonstrate how ferociously its fire blazes. Pokemon Ruby, Sapphire, Omega Ruby, and Alpha Sapphire. Quilava keeps its foes at bay with the intensity of its flames and gusts of superheated air. This Pokemon applies its outstanding nimbleness to dodge attacks even while scorching the foe with flames. Pokemon Legends Arceus. This creature's fur is most mysterious. It is wholly impervious to the burning touch of flame. Should Quilava turn its back to you, take heed. Such a posture indicates a forthcoming attack. Typhlosion. Pokemon Gold, Leaf Green, Heart Gold, and Pokemon X. If its rage peaks, it becomes so hot that anything that touches it will instantly go up in flames. Pokemon Silver, Fire Red, Soul Silver, and Pokemon Y. It has a secret, devastating move. It rubs its blazing fur together to cause huge explosions. Pokemon Diamond, Pearl, Platinum, Black and White 2, Brilliant Diamond, and Pokemon Shining Pearl. It attacks using blasts of fire. It creates heat shimmers with intense fire to hide itself. Slugma. Pokemon Gold, Leaf Green, and Pokemon Heart Gold. It never sleeps. It has to keep moving because if it stopped, its magma body would cool and harden. Pokemon Ruby and Omega Ruby. Molten magma courses throughout Slugma's circulatory system. If this Pokemon is chilled, the magma cools and hardens. Its body turns brittle and chunks fall off, reducing its size. Pokemon Sapphire and Alpha Sapphire. Slugma does not have any blood in its body. Instead, intensely hot magma circulates throughout this Pokemon's body, carrying essential nutrients and oxygen to its organs. Magcargo. Pokemon Ruby and Omega Ruby. Magcargo's shell is actually its skin that hardened as a result of cooling. Its shell is very brittle and fragile. Just touching it causes it to crumble apart. This Pokemon returns to its original size by dipping itself in magma. Pokemon Emerald. The shell on its back is made of hardened magma. Tens of thousands of years spent living in volcanic craters have turned Magcargo's bodies into magma. Pokemon Diamond, Pearl, Platinum, Brilliant Diamond, and Pokemon Shining Pearl. Its body temperature is roughly 18,000 degrees Fahrenheit. Flames burst from gaps in its shell made of hardened magma. Magby. Pokemon Gold, Leaf Green, and Pokemon Heart Gold. Each and every time it inhales and exhales, hot embers dribble out of its mouth and nostrils. Pokemon Crystal. It naturally spits a 1,100-degree flame. It is said when many appear, it heralds a volcanic eruption. Pokemon Ruby, Sapphire, Emerald, Omega Ruby, and Pokemon Alpha Sapphire. Magby's state of health is determined by observing the fire it breathes. If the Pokemon is spouting yellow flames from its mouth, it is in good health. When it is fatigued, black smoke will be mixed in with the flames. Pokemon Moon. A famous potter lives with a Magby. Apparently, its soft flames produce fine works. Pokemon Shield. This Pokemon makes its home near volcanoes. At the end of the day, Magpie soaks in magma, resting and recovering from the day's fatigue. End day. Pokemon Gold, Leaf Green, and Hard Gold. Volcanoes erupt when it barks, unable to restrain its extreme power. It races headlong around the land. Pokemon Silver, Fire Red, and Soul Silver. A Pokemon that races across the land. It is said that one is born every time a new volcano appears. Oh, 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 oh. Pokemon Silver, Fire Red, and Pokemon Soul Silver. A legend says that its body glows in 7 colors. A rainbow is said to form behind it when it flies. Pokemon Crystal and Pokemon Y. It will reveal itself before a pure-hearted trainer by shining its bright rainbow-colored wings. Pokemon Diamond, Pearl, Platinum, Brilliant Diamond, and Pokemon Shining Pearl. Its feathers are in 7 colors. It is said that anyone seeing it is promised eternal happiness. Torchic, Pokemon Ruby and Omega Ruby. Torchic sticks with its trainer, following behind with unsteady steps. This Pokemon breathes fire of over 1,800 degrees Fahrenheit, including fireballs that leave the foe scorched black. Pokemon Sapphire and Alpha Sapphire. Torchic has a place inside its body where it keeps its flames. Give it a hug. It will be glowing with warmth. This Pokemon is covered all over by a fluffy coat of down. Pokemon Emerald. If attacked, it strikes back by spitting balls of fire. It forms in its stomach. A Torchic dislikes darkness because it can't see its surroundings. Combusken, Pokemon Ruby and Omega Ruby. Combusken toughens up its legs and thighs by running through fields and mountains. This Pokemon's leg possesses both speed and power, enabling it to dole out 10 kicks in 1 second. Pokemon Fire Red and Pokemon Leaf Green. It boosts its concentration by emitting harsh cries. Its kicks have outstanding destructive power. Pokemon Emerald. It lashes out with 10 kicks per second. Its strong fighting instinct compels it to keep up its offensive until the opponent gives up. Blaziken and Mega Blaziken. Pokemon Sapphire and Alpha Sapphire. Blaziken has incredibly strong legs. It can easily clear a 30-story building in one leap. This Pokemon's blazing punches leave its foes scorched and blackened. Pokemon Fire Red, Pokemon Leaf Green, and Pokemon Y. When facing a tough foe, it loses flames from its wrists. Its powerful legs let it jump clear over buildings. Pokemon Emerald. It learns martial arts that use punches and kicks. Every several years, it extremely dull-witted. It doesn't notice being hit. However, it can't stand hunger for even a second. This Pokemon's body is a seething cauldron of boiling magma. Pokemon Emerald, a Numel, stores boiling magma in the hump on its back. It is a hardy Pokemon that can transport a 220-pound load. It has served humans at work since long ago. Pokemon Black and White 2 and Pokemon Y. The magma in its body reaches 2,200 degrees Fahrenheit. Its hump gets smaller when it uses fire-type moves. Camerupt and Mega Camerupt. Pokemon Sapphire and Alpha Sapphire. The humps on Camerupt's back are formed by a transformation of its bones. They sometimes blast out molten magma. This Pokemon apparently erupts often when it is enraged. Pokemon Emerald, a Pokemon that lives in the crater of a volcano. Every 10 years, the volcanoes on its back erupt violently. Research is underway on the cause of eruption. Pokemon Heart Gold and Pokemon Soul Silver. It lives in the crater of a volcano. It is well known that the humps on its back erupt every 10 years. Torkoal, Pokemon Ruby and Omega Ruby. Torkoal digs through mountains in search of coal. If it finds some, it fills hollow spaces on its shell with a coal and burns it. If it is attacked, this Pokemon spouts thick black smoke to beat a retreat. Pokemon Emerald. It battles using energy it gets from burning coal. When losing smoke from its nostrils, it lets off a sound that is similar to a locomotive's horn. Pokemon Heart Gold, Soul Silver, and Pokemon Shield. You find abandoned coal mines full of them. They dig tirelessly in search of coal. Pokemon Moon. If the fire burning within its shell goes out, it will die. Those who wish to raise one in their home must always keep something flammable at hand. Gast form, Sunny form, Pokemon Ultra Sun. This is the form Gas form takes on bright days. In an experiment where gas form was placed in front of a heater, it didn't change to this form. Pokemon Ultra Moon. Gas form changes to this form when it basks in bright sunlight. When you touch its glowing skin, it feels all dried out. Groudon. Primal Groudon. Pokemon Ruby. Groudon has long been described in mythology as the Pokemon that raised lands and expanded continents. This Pokemon took to sleep after a cataclysmic battle with Kyogre. Pokemon Sapphire. Groudon has the power to scatter rain clouds and make water evaporate with light and heat. It came as a savior to people who had been suffering from terrible floods. Pokemon Alpha Sapphire. Through primal reversion and with nature's full power, it will take back its true form. It can cause magma to erupt and expand the land Shining Pearl. Its fiery rear end is fueled by gas made in its belly. Even rain can't extinguish the fire. Pokemon Platinum, Black and White, and Black and White too. It is very agile. Before going to sleep, it extinguishes the flame on its tail to prevent fires. Pokemon Legends Arceus. Full of vigor and always in high spirits, it was once known by the name Lantern-Tail and feared as some kind of apparition. Monferno. Pokemon Pearl, Pokemon Y, Alpha Sapphire, and Pokemon Shining Pearl. It uses ceilings and walls to launch aerial attacks. Its fiery tail is but one weapon. Pokemon Platinum, Black and White, Black and White 2, Pokemon X, and Omega Ruby. It skillfully controls the intensity of fire on its tail to keep its foes at an ideal distance. Pokemon Heart Gold and Soul Silver. A bigger fire on its tail and a brighter blue pattern on its face means its rank in its pack is higher. Infernape. Pokemon Diamond and Pokemon Brilliant Diamond. It uses a special kind of martial arts involving all its limbs. Its fire never goes out. Pokemon Pearl, Pokemon X, Omega Ruby, and Shining Pearl. Its crown of fire is indicative of its fiery nature. It is beaten by none in terms of quickness. Pokemon Legends Arceus. A tall, hardy Pokemon with a dazzling appearance. It shrouds itself in flame and battles as if engaged in dance. Truly a sight to behold. Mag Mortar. Pokemon Platinum and Pokemon Black and White. When launching 3,600 degrees Fahrenheit fireballs, its body takes on a whitish hue from the intense heat. Pokemon Sun. They dwell in volcanic craters. According to what is known, a single pair of male and female Magmortar lives in one volcano. Pokemon Ultra Sun. There are still quite a few factories that rely on the flames provided by Magmortar to process metals. Pokemon Ultra Moon. Magmortar takes down its enemies by shooting fireballs, which burn them to a blackened crisp. It avoids this method when hunting prey. Pokemon Shield. Living on the crater of a volcano has caused this Pokemon's body to resemble its environment. It has an organ similar to a magma chamber. Rotom Heat. Pokemon Sword. This Rotom has possessed a convection microwave oven that uses a special motor. It also has a flair for manipulating flames. Pokemon Shield. This form of Rotom enjoys making mischief by turning up the heat. It will gleefully burn your favorite outfit. Pokemon Legends Arceus. A form in which Rotom lurks within a strange cauldron. The cauldron's origin is unknown. A bothersome Pokemon causing trouble with the flames it spits. Tapping, 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 tapping. Pokemon White. It blows fire through its nose. When it catches a cold, the fire becomes pitch black smoke instead. Pokemon Black and White too, and Alpha Sapphire. It loves to eat roasted berries, but sometimes it gets too excited and burns them into a crisp. Big Night. Pokemon Black, Pokemon White, and Alpha Sapphire. When its internal fire flares up, its movements grow sharper and faster. When in trouble, it emits smoke. Pokemon White. Whatever it eats becomes fuel for the flame in its stomach. When it is angered, the intensity of the flame increases. Ember. Pokemon Black, Pokemon X, and Pokemon Omega Ruby. It can throw a fire punch by setting its fists on fire with its fiery chin. It cares deeply about its friends. Pokemon White, Pokemon Y, and Pokemon Alpha Sapphire. It has mastered fast and powerful fighting moves. It grows a beard of fire. Pansear. Pokemon Black and White 2, Pokemon X, and Omega Ruby. Very intelligent. It roasts berries before eating them. It likes to help people. Pokemon White, Pokemon Y, and Pokemon Alpha Sapphire. This Pokemon lives in caves in volcanoes. The fire within the tuft on its head can reach 600 degrees Fahrenheit. Simisear. Pokemon Black. It loves sweets because they become energy for the fire burning inside its body. Pokemon White, Pokemon X, and Omega Ruby. A flame burns inside its body. It scatters embers from its head and tail to sear its opponents. Darumaka, Pokemon White, Pokemon X, and Omega Ruby. Darumaka's droppings are hot, so people used to put them in their clothes to keep themselves warm. Pokemon Sword. It derives its power from fire burning inside its body. If the fire dwindles, this Pokemon will immediately fall asleep. Pokemon Shield. This popular symbol of good fortune will never fall over in its sleep, no matter how it's pushed or pulled. Darmanitan. Standard Mode. Pokemon Shield. This Pokemon's power level rises along with the temperature of its fire, which can reach 2,500 degrees Fahrenheit. Heat more. Pokemon White, Pokemon X, and Omega Ruby. Using their very hot, flame-covered tongues, they burn through Durant's steel bodies and consume their insides. Pokemon Black and White 2, Pokemon Y, and Alpha Sapphire. It draws in air through its tail, transforms it into fire, and uses it like a tongue. It melts Durant and eats them. Pokemon Sword. There's a hole in its tail that allows it to draw in the air it needs to keep its fire burning. If the hole gets blocked, this Pokemon will fall ill. Reshiram, Pokemon White, Pokemon Y, and Alpha Sapphire. When Reshiram's tail flares, the heat energy moves the atmosphere and changes the world's weather. Pokemon Black and White 2, Pokemon X, and Omega Ruby. This legendary Pokemon can scorch the world with fire. It helps those who want to build a world of truth. Pokemon Shield. According to myth, if people ignore truth and let themselves become consumed by greed, Reshiram will arrive to burn their kingdoms down. Fennekin. Pokemon X and Omega Ruby. Eating a twig fills it with energy, and its roomy ears give vent to air hotter than 390 degrees Fahrenheit. Pokemon Y and Alpha Sapphire. As it walks, it munches on a twig in place of a snack. It intimidates opponents by puffing hot air out of its ears. Breaks in Pokemon X and Omega Ruby. It has a twig stuck in its tail. With friction from its tail fur, it sets the twig on fire and launches into battle. Pokemon Y and Alpha Sapphire. When the twig is plucked from its tail, friction sets the twig alight. The flame is used to send signals to its allies. Fletchender, Pokemon Y and Alpha Sapphire. The hotter the flame sack on its belly, the faster it can fly, but it takes some time to get the fire going. Pokemon Sun. From its beak, it fires embers at its prey. Once it has caught them, it grills them at high heat before feasting upon them. Talonflame. Pokemon Sun. Its favorite foods are Winkle and Pick-a-Peck. It attacks with a powerful kick and grasps them firmly in its talons. Pokemon Ultra Sun. Its tough wings don't allow fire to pass through them. A long time ago, firefighters' outfits were made from Talonflame wings. Pokemon Sword. Talonflame mainly preys upon other bird Pokemon. To intimidate opponents, it sends embers spewing from gaps between its feathers. Lit Leo, Pokemon Ultra Sun. When they're young, they live with a pride. Once they're able to hunt prey on their own, they're kicked out and have to make their own way. Pokemon Ultra Moon. This hot-blooded Pokemon is filled with curiosity. When it gets angry or starts fighting, its short mane gets hot. Pyroar. Pokemon Ultra Sun. The males are usually lazy, but when attacked by a strong foe, a male will protect its friends with no regard for its own safety. Pokemon Ultra Moon. The temperature of its breath is over 10,000 degrees Fahrenheit, but Pyroar doesn't use it on its prey. This Pokemon prefers to eat raw meat. Volcanion. Pokemon X and Omega Ruby. It lets out billows of steam and disappears into the dense fog. It's said to live in mountains where humans do not tread. Litten. Pokemon Sun. While grooming itself, it builds up fur inside its stomach. It sets the fur alight Its mane is standing on end. You can tell it's feeling good. When it isn't feeling well, its fur will lie down flat. Pokemon Sword. In the midst of battle, the fire pouch on Torracat's neck rings like a bell and produces stronger flames than usual. Oricorio. Baile style. Pokemon Moon. This Oricorio has sipped red nectar. Its passionate dance moves cause its enemies to combust in both body and mind. Pokemon Ultra Sun. It wins the hearts of its enemies with its passionate dancing and then uses the opening it creates to burn them up with blazing flames. Salandit. Pokemon Moon. Volcanoes or dry, craggy places are its home. It emanates a sweet-smelling poisonous gas that attracts bug Pokemon, then attacks them. Pokemon Ultra Sun. The males will do whatever the females tell them. They give the females most of their food. Due to malnutrition, the males can't evolve. Pokemon Sword. Its venomous sacs produce a fluid that this Pokemon then heats up with the flame in its tail. This process creates Salandit's poisonous gas. Salazzle. Pokemon Sun. For some reason, only females have been found. It creates a reverse harem of male Salandit that it lives with. Pokemon Moon. Filled with pheromones, its poisonous gas can be diluted to use in the production of luscious perfumes. Pokemon Shield. The winner of competitions between Salazzle is decided by which one has the most male Salandit with it. Turtonator. Pokemon Sun. The shell on its back is chemically unstable and explodes violently if struck. The hole in its stomach is its weak point. Pokemon Shield. Eating sulfur in its volcanic habitat is what causes explosive compounds to develop in its shell. Its droppings are also dangerously explosive. Scorbunny. Pokemon Sword. A warm-up of running around gets fire energy coursing through this Pokemon's body. Once that happens, it's ready to fight at full power. Pokemon Shield. It has special pads on the back of its feet and one on its nose. Once it's raring to fight, these pads radiate tremendous heat. Raboot. Pokemon Shield. It kicks berries right off the branches of trees and then juggles them with its feet, practicing its footwork. Cinderace. Pokemon Sword. It juggles a pebble with its feet, turning into a burning soccer ball. Its shots strike opponents hard and leave them scorched. Pokemon Shield. It's skilled at both offense and defense, and it gets pumped up when cheered on. But if it starts showboating, it could put itself in a tough spot. Carkle, Carkle, Carkle. Carkle. Pokemon Shield. By rapidly rolling its legs, it can travel at over 18 miles per hour. The temperature of the flames it breathes exceeds 1,800 degrees Fahrenheit. Colossal. Pokemon Sword. It's usually peaceful, but the vandalism of mines enrages it. fires will be incinerated with flames that reach 2,700 degrees Fahrenheit. And that was our last entry for our Fire Pokemon Pokedex readings. Before you drift off to sleep, I have a question to ask. Which fire type would you want to hang out with during the fall and winter seasons to keep you warm? The Pokemon I would want to buddy up for fall and winter is Torchic. And it's not just because Torchic is my favorite fire type. I think its entry for Alpha Sapphire and Sapphire won me over, where it said, if you give it a hug, it will be glowing with warmth, and that just sounds delightful for these cold months. It also said it's covered all over by a fluffy coat of down, so not only is it warm, it's also very soft and cuddly. Again, perfect for the cold seasons of fall and winter. But yeah, let me know which fire type you would choose. Please take care and stay hydrated. For now, I hope you are sleepy. Good night.